Her if she is guilty is what her brother has said, but here is the brother who has disowned Sonam. While we look at the other side of the story, and we also always have to, because in just about any crime story, and I've covered so many of them, Tara Deshpande, there is always the other side, and women are perhaps demonized as well. In this particular case, of course, there is evidence. There is also a confession which has happened by Sonam. But the manner in which it has played out so far, two families which were brought together, did they not know what Sonam was up to? And also, did Sonam succumb to societal pressure of marriage?
Well, you're absolutely right that there are always two sides to the coin, and she deserves a correct defense if justice is to be properly served, which I'm sure she will get. The motivation still doesn't quite add up. I mean, here's a girl who apparently was very capable, was running her family's business, understood finance, had people working for her, and she comes under pressure from a family to marry. Now, what kind of pressure was it? What unusual pressure was it that forced her to marry someone she didn't want to? I think we need to delve into what kind of pressure was put on her. Was she threatened? Or did she then convey her desire not to marry this man to him? And despite that, was she forced to marry him? Sometimes if people are forced to have a relationship or are tied to someone that they do not wish to be with, that in India also is a crime. So I think understanding her psychology is extremely important, understanding her family's psychology, because while it does happen that people overnight become monsters, it is still unusual. I mean, you do see signs of sociopathic behavior, signs of a lack of empathy in a person who goes out and commits such a cold-blooded crime. I also think it's good to understand this alleged boyfriend here who mysteriously was in her life, then disappeared, then reappeared shortly before the marriage. And then he didn't want to kill this man, apparently, from what I've read. Now, if she's so in love with him and she's murdering her husband because she's in love with him, now she learns that this man whom she's going to commit the murder for doesn't want it committed. Did it make her think twice that, he's not supporting me, he doesn't love me? Why should I commit such a terrible crime? Did he have a life insurance policy on him? Was there a financial motive here? I think the motivation is still very unclear. They seem to have covered a lot of the chronology of the event, though there are still some gaps in it which don't really make sense, because this crime pretty much has been committed like on CCTV camera. It's a bumbling, mismanaged crime, which seems so strange for a young woman who was obviously quite capable and quite intelligent. So I still think that we need to really look into the motivations here and understand her psychology. What happened in the few days of that honeymoon? Did her husband say or do anything to her against her will? I mean, every aspect of this should be looked at before someone is given, in India, we rarely hand out capital punishments, but a life sentence.
Tara, 30 seconds to you, and then I'll give the last word to Kasturi.
People have, I agree with, almost everything that all my other fellow panelists have said, that this should not be a crime that defines women in this country. The statistics globally, from every agency you'll find that far more crimes are committed against women by men than the opposite. But also something that Dr. Nisha said about this being a stranger crime. We value the sanctity of marriage and this sacred bond, but the truth was that she barely knew this man. He was, in effect, they had just got married. She didn't know him. It was not like she was going out with him for years and years. He was, in a sense, a kind of stranger to her. So she probably did not feel the same towards him as she would have felt towards someone, say, she knew for years when she was dating him. So I think that this, it was a sacred bond kind of thing is a bit of a weak argument. But I still do believe that we need to look more into her psychology and understand why this happened, what responsibility her own family has played, what kind of pressure was put on her to marry this man. I mean, at best, we need to find out why a capable woman like this who ran a business, who is an adult, didn't think that she could say no or, elope with whoever she wanted to. Was she influenced by these people? Maybe she decided to do it and then the others threatened her because she had promised them money and she couldn't back out of it. There are, these crimes can be very murky and very difficult. So I think that really more investigation is needed into her psychology and her family's psychology as well.
Okay.